Hey, it's Expired Cubing, and this is going to be a video on how you should intuitively do L4E. So I'm making this video because I see a lot of people doing inefficient intuitive L4E, which sounds odd, but there is a way you can do intuitive L4E that is close to optimal, that is pretty simple and straightforward to implement. So let's get into it. So doing this can avoid getting a 2-flip or a 3-cycle, and it's just a simple set of rules to know and understand. The first is to understand and use the 6 different types of inserts. The 6 different types are L prime UL, which does this to the cube. Its mirror, which is the same thing but mirrored. L prime U prime L, which does a different thing to the cube, as you can see, and then the mirror of that, and then the classic hedge and the classic sledge, except I mixed those two up. So yeah, knowing these means you can solve every L4E case with the exception of the 2-flip using just 2 of those inserts. So the rule for doing that is pretty simple. The thing you need to make sure you do on your first insert, so the first half of your alg, is make sure that you influence the edges for your second insert. This means you will need to recognize bad edges, such as a flipped one here, or a misoriented edge that looks like this, and making sure it does not stay solved for your next insert. So this means you will have to influence it and unsolve it while you solve another edge on the pairings. So this seems kind of complicated, but it's really not too difficult, as it just means you will need to exercise the 6 different types of inserts and making sure that as you solve one edge, it unsolves the bad edges and leaves you with a really good L3E. So this is pretty simple, and it's different from what a lot of beginner solvers do, because they oftentimes will just solve an edge without influence anything else, putting the edge in the back, and it leads to very unfavorable cases like a 2-flip or a 3-cycle, which are not fast or efficient or optimal, and they can be easily avoided. So for this is another example where instead of just inserting the edge and putting it in the back, you can insert the edge and move the center around to unsolve this flipped piece, which leaves you with a simple insert. This is very easy to implement, although it might slow down your recognition. Knowing what edges are good and what edges are bad and how to influence them to give you a better second insert, it will drop your times in the long run, as you do more and more practice and more solves. This will just flow together and look like you're just doing one alg, even though you are identifying what the bad edges are, keeping them unsolved, and then identifying what your last 3 edges is and doing that. So yeah, I'm Expired Cubing, and now I'm not.